Hey guys, it was a long time since I did one of these videos. It's a hobby showcase, a work in progress, so to speak, of my, no, not red coursers this time, but my Ynnari army. So it's all started by purchasing some Doomfire Warlocks from HS Figmar that were on the shelves of one of our local gaming stores, and I saw the potential of converting some Ynnari Dark Elder at that time, and this was my very first test model for the army. It's quite different from the rest of the army that I went with as the time went on. The red here is a little bit different, but I couldn't replicate it afterwards, so it doesn't stand out that much, but it's still different nonetheless. But as I said, the time went on, and I went for a different Eldari force for my Ynnari, and that force are Harlequins. Why I went with Harlequins? Well, because again, bikers. I really like bikers, that's why I started Red Coursers, and that's why I wanted to start Drukhari or Dark Eldar. But Harlequins had a different type of bikers. They had these guys that are mounted on top of the bike. They're very close combat guys. And I thought that the conversion that I did with the Dark Elder biker, the River biker, can be achieved here, and it was possible, and it's even better than the Dark Elder ones. For the conversion, as I said, I used Doomfire Warlocks bodies, heads and arms, but here, since there's an arm that is holding the rider's seat, I had to use the Harlequin arm, came in the box. What I'm not happy with is that I want to use the Dark Elder River Deadbug front piece for these bikers, but they're longer than the Dark Elder ones, so it didn't fit and didn't look right. So I had to stick with this one. Now all the bikers are magnetized, because HW is doing a poor job with their flying bases. Speaking of bases, here I went for this very dark look of the base, which you can find the tutorial of how to make it on my channel if you're interested in that. But yeah, so there they are. I start with 4 guys as a start. Of course, I'm expanding on them right now, but those are the 4 guys at the moment. Then I painted up 2 Star Weavers for my trope transports. Same idea as with the bikers. The close combat guy is made from the same spruce, while for the rider I tried to keep him very simple. I want him to be like, basically the entire idea of this army, that they are cultists, they're fanatics, they're crazed Eldari that believe in Eldar. But that's all come in the future, because I have plans of making a couple videos explaining why they are how they are and what brought them to being this way. So it will come later on in the future. But just as a spoiler, the rider that is inside, he's basically just a starting follower. He has no buffs from their god or whatever. He's just a lucky for this entire cultist force. The only difference that you can see in these models, that they don't have a gunner that is usually holding the guns on the on top of the vehicle. Now the reason for that is, at the point that when I start assembling these guys, I ran out from Doomfire Warlock splits. So I have these guys, they're ready to be painted and then mounted on top of the transport, but it will take some time for that to happen. Until then, the bikes, the transport shall be used without them. It doesn't detract from the overall look, but still, when they're painted, it will be even more dynamic and cinematic. Now, after that, I went for the main bone of the entire Harlequin force, which are the Tropes. Now, for them, I used the Namatri Reavers bits from Age of Sigmar. Then I used Daughters of Cain witches heads and Harlequin Tropes weapons. Why I went for the Namatri Reavers? Well, first of all, they're very dynamic poses. I think that they work quite well for this unit. They resemble Harlequins very well, and at the same time they're very masculine, and they're very unique in that sense that they don't wear any armor, which I think for this crazed Ynnari coat is very original and cinematic. So that's why I went for them. As you can see, that each squad has a long eye with a kiss and a horned helmet. Now, Tropes don't have a squad leader, but I wanted for my Tropes for one of the guys to resemble a squad leader. That's why they have mask horns. But again, that will come later in a story video. Now, every single guy is different. As you can see here, they're all very unique looking. I try to spend as much time as possible painting them, and I personally think that it came out quite decent. A very good tabletop standard. I struggle with the painting the tongues because I wanted original them to be pink, but it didn't look right, so I went for a blood effect instead. Some I have kisses, embraces, and caresses in the unit. I think the embraces look particularly well because it's like an extension of the model. What I like in particular about these two units is that even using several different bits from 3 different boxes, 2 boxes from Age of Sigmar and 1 box from 40k, it still looks very, very good. It looks like it was meant to go with one another, so I really like that. To finish up this 750 point list, I had to put an HQ in the squad, in the army, and I found a very old model on my shelves. It's a model from Warhammer Fantasy Ages. I really liked Dark Elves back then, and when this model came out, I was very happy at how it looked like, and I never managed to sell it to anyone. And when I came up with the idea of this Ynnari army, I found it and thought to myself, this is perfect. I'm talking about this Dark Elf Sorceress that is now as shadows here for this force. She looks very Ynnari. She has this spirit floating around her. She's casting something like you see on the Ynnari model. So yeah, basically everything about her screams cold, crazed shadows here, and that's why I like her. And this ends my 750 point list, but it doesn't mean that I'm done with the army. Next up, I painted my Trope Master. This is the Visarch from the Ynnari triple set of HQs. I used an old Archon arm with the Flaming Pyramid for him, and a Corsair Lord from Age of Sigmar head. I think he looks... the model itself is brilliant, I always liked it, and he fits quite well with the army. When putting both the Shadows here and Visarch side by side, they look like a pair of king and queen. And I would like to end this video on this high note of Visarch joining the painted army of this Ynnari force, but my collection of Ynnari already extended to 2000 points, ignoring the Dark Elder parts and conversions that I have. But as a sneak peek for what's to come next, I will just shove this guy into the shot and you will understand in what direction I am going next. So I hope you liked this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a short video, but I had to make it to show the progress of this army, and this big guy is still watching you.